Hi friends, it's Miss Mahan. Today your learning target is to use a protractor to measure angles. Some of you might be familiar with this tool. It's called a protractor. So a couple of features about a protractor I want to point out to you is that you can use it to measure angles and draw angles. So to measure an angle, there's two sets of numbers. There's outer numbers that start at 0 here, and I know that because the next number is 10 and 0 comes before 10. So we follow the outer numbers, those are increasing by 10s. 90 is in the middle, and then 180 is this far line over here. And then the opposite side starts at 0, and it's just completely flipped from the outer numbers. The inner numbers start at 0, 90 is still in the middle, and then go around, and this line is the 180 mark. So which sets of numbers you use, either outer or inner, depends on the direction that the flat line of an angle is facing. So for example, this one, we would follow where this is pointing, and if 0 starts here, it's pointing to start at the inner numbers because we always start at 0 when we're counting. So we would use the inner set. At the same time, this one is facing the opposite way, so it's pointing to the 0 that starts over here with the outer numbers. So we would use the outer numbers to measure this angle. So we'll measure those in just a second. I want to remind you the different degree measurements for each type of angle. So acute angles are 1 degree to 89 degrees. Right angles are exactly 90 degrees. Obtuse angles are 91 degrees to 179 degrees. And straight angles are exactly 180 degrees. So you can usually, 9 times out of 10, you can tell what an angle is just by looking at it. So if you know a right angle is straight up, straight over, and this one is bigger than that, we know that this is an obtuse angle. But if we want to know exactly the measurement of the angle, then we use the protractor to find that. So now we'll go ahead and use the protractor. So you line up the dot that's in the protractor with the dot that's on the angle, where the two line rays meet. And then this line that comes out, you line that up with the actual line that's on the angle so that you know you're measuring it straight. So it's pointing to where we would use the inner numbers to measure. So we'll start at 0 and we'll increase. We know it's going to be more than 90 because it's an obtuse angle. And then now we need to kind of extend this line to see where it ends. So as you can kind of tell, it ends 2 tick marks past the 10. But if we're going the opposite way using the inside numbers, that means it's 2 tick marks less than 170 because they're going backwards from the outer numbers. So each of these little tick marks is a 1. So 2 less than 170 would be 168 degrees. And that falls in the range of an obtuse angle, which we knew that just by looking at it. So this angle is 168 degrees and it's obtuse. Now let's do the next one. So line up the circle, make sure your lines are straight on the protractor, straight onto the line ray. So it's pointing at the 0 that's starting on the outer numbers, so we're going to use those numbers to measure the angle. And we kind of extend this line out, and it looks like it's 2 tick marks past the 40, so that would be 42 degrees. And 42 degrees falls within the acute range, so this is an acute angle, which I'm sure that you guys knew that just by looking at it because a right angle would be this, and it's less than that. Okay, next, line up our circle and our line. Okay, this one again is pointing to the 0 that would start for the outer numbers. So we're going to go all the way until this one ends. Extend that line to match it up with the protractor. So it's 4 tick marks past 90, so that would be 94. So it's 94 degrees. It looks almost like a right angle, but since it's not exactly 90 degrees, we have to go to the obtuse range. So this is another obtuse angle. Okay, and one more. Line up our dot and line up our line so that we know we're measuring it straight. Okay, this one's pointing to the 0 that starts on the inner numbers, so we're going to use the inner numbers to count it. So this one is almost at 90 also. It's at 91 because it's 1 tick mark past. So it's 91 degrees. That's almost a right angle, but 91 is not equal to 90. So we know that 91 is obtuse. So there's how you use a protractor to measure angles. On your practice, the protractor is already set with the direction that you should look, but there's 2 options that you choose from. I hope that if you have questions, you will ask me, but good luck on your practice.